How long you been there, Hector?
10 years.
And when you first came here, what were the people like?
But by the time it was not like this, whereas it is today. It was still modernized at that time, still in good condition, but now that we look at slums.
Mm-hmm. And what kinds of people lived here 20 years ago?
Yeah, more or less the whites were living here around.
And were people, would you say, sort of rich? Was it a sort
more
of
middle class, like middle class.
White middle class suburb?
Yes.
Okay. And when did you start experiencing the changes?
The changes, it comes when the 94 election and those things, people, they tried to run away then. They're selling their estates and buildings and whatever and leaving their buildings and contracts because they think people there's going to be a fight. Yes.
So all the white people ran away?
More or less those who were rich.
I noticed that lots of people sitting outside bushes, builders, people sitting with equipment waiting for work.
Yes.
Is that how you get your work? Do you have to sit outside as well?
But the problem is this now then, there's too much immigrants from Zimbabwe. No, it's very overcrowded now. So well done. There's no, if you want to say that you are paid such a money, that one doesn't have that qualification. It can say accept anything, any offer.
So people are working for next to nothing?
For next to nothing. That's for a living. That's for a living, about bread and butter.
Post-apartheid around 94 was really tense time. There was lots of fear, especially around the white constituents who fled. There was an exodus out of the inner city. White people moved to the north and moved into these suburban enclaves, with high walls and security, cutting themselves off from the inner city. There was an influx of people into the city. People came from rural South Africa, people came from continental Africa, and this transformed the modernist landscape with new informal practices. The city planners inherited a lot of the old apartheid legacies. There were problems related to aging infrastructure, to a shortage of services mainly, and infrastructure for marginal communities. The disinvestment actually resulted in bad buildings in the city, and that's because the property owners were not putting money back into their buildings. And as a result, a lot of people moved into the buildings and squatted in the buildings, and no money was being pumped in the city. I'm standing here on Highlands Hill, and behind me is Ponty City. Ponty City being this great grey tower, an icon in the Johannesburg cityscape. And Ponty City was built in the 1970s and was seen as the epitome of luxury living. And so we had middle and upper class, mainly white people, predominantly white people living in the building with these penthouses on top, and it was very luxurious. And of course, it didn't last because of the natural cause. What happens in most cities is this decentralization. And here in Johannesburg specifically, most of the white people left. So it perceived with negativity in the 80s, where it was perceived with being a place associated with drug dealing. And now lately, because of the 2010 World Cup, there was this proposal to redevelop it. And the guys who came aboard, these developers, what they did was they made a deal with the owners of the building to say, we'll redevelop this building. And once we sold all the units, we'll pay you for the overall structure. But what they did was actually not cool. It was actually a scam, because they collected people's money, and now they're nowhere to be found. And in the meanwhile, this place has been gutted. So, in some floors, there are no windows, there are no walls, there's no infrastructure, there's one working lift, and people have to live in that. And that's just a horrible tragedy.
So it's squatted again?
Yeah, it's squatted again. Stay down, don't fucking be brave. Stay down, Zach.
It's all gone.
Gonna ask somebody what happened.
Oi, bafethu. Njani bafethu? Lo msindo lo bewela anazi ukuthi bekumsindo wani. Sanibona. Njani baba? Bengicela ukubuza lo msindo lo wenzakala nganazi ukuthi wani.
Just nje sizwe isibhamu asibonanga ukuthi kanjani. Ungathi kunabantu lapha babaleka somewhere. Sebebagijimisa bona.
No, there was just a gunfire. They heard a gunfire, so they wanted to see exactly. Thanks.
That shooting was related to some sort of taxi violence, and taxi violence is quite apparent, and it's related to control of the industry. It's unregulated, it's disputed, informal. There's a clash between these formal worlds and informal worlds, because what the government would like to do is to formalize the taxi industry. And so there's a struggle for control of routes, control of space, control of the streets.
Yeah.